Rob, it's great to see you. It's been just less than 2 months since Wales's World Cup journey came to an end out in Doha, and you know, it's fair to say the dust has settled. Everyone's had a fair bit of time now to reflect. So what would you say is the overall emotion when you look back at Qatar?
Yeah, of course, we've got to be immensely proud of qualifying for the World Cup with, you know, with the group of players that we've had, and it's an unbelievable achievement. But I did leave and I was a little bit disappointed because I honestly didn't think we showed a true reflection of what we're capable of doing, and that was my frustration, along with the players as well. You know, they would have come away with exactly the same feelings as me, and I just thought the way we planned for it was, you know, was excellent, and the hype and the buzz and the excitement surrounding it, and I just felt a little bit disappointed. I did, and I can't hide that. And I struggled. I couldn't watch a game back for the first couple of weeks. It hurt that much, but that's football, and you got to learn from it, and we will, and it'll make us bigger and stronger moving forward.
Is it more about what lessons can be learnt rather than looking back and thinking what we could have done differently?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think, you know, there's a lot of talk about the biggest thing that people have picked up on is athleticism, and yeah, you know, of course we've got to be able to cope with the intensity of teams that we play against, and the athleticism of the USA's midfield three. And you look at teams like Canada who didn't pick a point up, but, you know, really impressed with how athletic they were, and that's the way the game's going. But the winners in Argentina were probably in the bottom three of all teams that qualified in distance covered, in accumulation of the team. So we can't just get all carried away with how athletic you have to be to win games of football. You know, it helps when you've got people like Messi in your team, of course it does. So yeah, you know, there's lessons learnt, and I just think my frustration was that if we'd have played anywhere near like we did against Belgium, you know, the lucky supporters that were there to experience that at home, even Holland away, you know, where it took to the 94th minute for them to get the winner against us, with a late penalty from Gareth making it interesting in those last few seconds. You know, if we'd have got anywhere near those levels of performance, even if we'd have still left, I would have been proud. I would have been really proud that we've shown everybody what we're capable of doing, and I just think we didn't, and there's no way we'll do that again. There's no way. That's something that I've taken from it, and we won't allow that to happen again.
Why do you think we didn't reach those levels? That might be a big question, but can you put your finger on it?
I've asked that question myself a million times, and there's a multitude of factors that will have an impact. You know, the first game against USA, first half, you know, we had to change it at half time because tactically they changed how they pressed. I went to Spain to watch them play against Saudi Arabia, funny enough, and they changed it completely from how they pressed. So we had to think on our feet, and we did, and we made the change which made us better second half. And I think, you know, albeit for the professional tackle on Gareth late on, you know, we could have gone on to maybe win the game. But there was more positives in the second half performance for us going into then the Iran game. The disappointment of the Iran game, you know, and of course we were chasing the game, and the sending off late on, of course it changed it. We conceded 2 late goals, but, you know, we went all out to win the game. We weren't just happy with the point, you know, even though we knew then going into the England game we had to win. And the England game again, all right, we changed the shape and a couple of personnel. And I thought first half, that's probably the easiest team talk at half time I've had to give, because I thought we went toe to toe with them. We limited the opportunities they created. They didn't have really any out and out chances, considering the goals they'd scored in previous games before that and the chances they created. I thought we limited them to half chances. And then through our fault really again, and when you give top teams opportunities like we did at that level, you're going to get punished. And it's gone from the easiest team talk at half time to within 5 minutes 2-0 down, thinking this could now be a disaster, you know, and they didn't deserve that, the players, because I thought, you know, that the free kick is disappointing when you look back at it. The kick off from the second goal, we don't work on that. It's something they've gone against what we do as a set piece. Back to Ben, play to Kiefer, we pick the second balls up, we earn the right to play early on in the second half. We completely change it, and within 10 seconds of our kick off, we're 2-0 down. And when you give good teams opportunities like that, you're going to get punished. So lessons learnt, like I said, and you're right, we're not looking back. I've done all that, I've boxed it all off, we've had the meetings that we need to have, and we're now really looking forward to a European campaign.
You mentioned at the start, you know, personally it was difficult for you. We've seen, you know, how much of a family man you are. When you got home, how important, you know, was your support network to you? Because I can imagine It must have been a difficult couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, it was hard because with all the build-up going out, you know, Tylus on welfare all was absolutely the right thing to do. Ewro Hyd, and I just thought we didn't meet all the hype before it. You know, I felt we let the supporters down, if I'm being honest, and yeah, that was quite hard to take. But look, like I said, that's football, that's life. You've got to roll your sleeves up and get on with it and make sure that we don't let that happen again. For whatever reason, like I said, was it against USA? Was it the opportunity to play in a World Cup? Was it a little bit, you know, intimidating too much for some of the players? I don't know. That might have been a factor. But we've addressed it and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Have you spoken to the players during this period? You know, how are they feeling? Have you had time to have a proper debrief yet?
No, and we won't do in March now because, like I said, we've got Croatia away, and that's going to be an extremely tough game. So things will be addressed at the right time, and then we box it off, and then we move forward with a tough game against Croatia.
Let's move forward and look ahead. Since the World Cup, not much has happened, is it? Just the small matter of Gareth Bale retiring. Rob, I know we've spoken briefly about it, but you know, how did it come about, and had you had previous conversations with Gareth? You know, were you expecting it, basically?
I wasn't, if I'm honest. I did wonder if he'd do it. I hadn't had conversations before. All the conversations we did have, and I heard him talking to other members of staff, was that he was looking forward to the next campaign and wanting to be a part of it, which was great. I would have still absolutely used him. The dynamics of it might have changed. It might have not been the case where we're pushing him from day one to make sure that he's right for the game on the Saturday and play 90 minutes. It might have been that to have somebody of Gareth's quality coming on for 20, 25 minutes at the end of a game, one is a massive statement to the opposition. They'll stand up and take note, and it gives our players a buzz as well when they see somebody like Gareth or coming onto the pitch for the latter stages of the game. So that would have been my plan moving forward. But he showed me the respect on the Sunday to give me a ring. He gave me a heads up before he announced it on the Monday, and I agreed with him. You know, I think it's the right for what he's done for Welsh football. It's incredible, but it's a mixture of emotions, isn't it? It's quite a sadness as well because you won't get to see Gareth play football again for Wales and put the jersey on and knowing what it means to him. It must have been the most difficult decision him and his family have had to make because I know what playing for Wales means to him. So I just reassured him and said, look, I think it's the right thing to do. You've gone out, you've scored in a World Cup, you've done everything else that Wales would want to do, and you should be very proud. And I'm privileged to have had that opportunity to work with him.
You know, he is a once-in-a-lifetime player. I was 9 when he made his debut, so I can't remember Wales without Gareth Bale. So what does Wales look like now without Bale, Rob?
Well, it's exciting, Sinead. Honestly, it's exciting, and that's a message I want to give to the supporters. You know, one thing Gareth did say to me as well in the conversation was, it's now an opportunity for the young ones to step up. And I got nothing but respect for him for that as well. You know, he's thinking of the next lot of young players coming through. So that was part of his process as to why he didn't want to be in the way of, you know, hindering the development now of some of the younger players. In the formation we played in the build-up to the qualification for Qatar and even when we were out there, it was Gareth or Brennan. Well, now Brennan's playing in the Premiership week in, week out. It's now an opportunity for the likes of Brennan to step up to the plate and grab hold of that jersey.
Does it make your job easier? That might be a tricky question.
That Gareth's retired? No, I mean, listen, I would have never retired Gareth. You can't retire Gareth. John Toshak did it to myself and John Arts, and I'll never forget the conversation. He said, look, you're great lads, I'll always have you in the squad, but I can't guarantee you're going to play. And then that puts the decision on us. It's like, right, okay, well, we've got young families. Do we really want to travel around Europe and not play? And it's a big commitment, and we made that call in the end. And I would have probably done the same. To have Gareth involved in some capacity, even in the squad, and like I said, it might have been come on for 20 minutes. I would have relished our opportunity, certainly in the first, half a dozen games, or this year then, going into the autumn this year as well, with the Ewro qualifiers, to use him in some capacity.
The captaincy, Rob?
Yeah.
Who is it?
I've thought long and hard about it. Who is it? You want? Right, okay, it's... I was asked that question today. One of the kids in the school asked me, and I'm spoilt for choice because I've got a great blend of. I've got young players, Ethan on so many caps, cap accumulation that he's got as a young lad, and a model professional. He's captain material. I've got the likes of Ben Davies, outstanding professional, leads by example, on and off the pitch. I've got Aaron, who's been a captain before, Joe Allen, some of the senior players then. So I have made my mind up, but I'm not going to announce it yet. There'll be a time and a place when I do it. I don't think there'll be too many surprises, if I'm being completely honest, so we'll have to wait and see, Sinead.
What qualities does a Rob Page captain need then?
No different to what Gareth brought, really. You know, no egos in the changing room. We're all equal. We won't tolerate nonsense. Lead by example. When you train. Work hard. The minute you step off the white line, relax. And I think that's one thing we pride ourselves in. From Chris 2016 all the way up to now, I think we've got that balance really well. And when we work, we graft, we work. And then when you come back off over the white line, go and play table tennis, go and have a game of darts, go and have a laugh, enjoy each other's company. That's what builds that team spirit and that environment. And the captain has to lead that. He has to lead by example. Gareth done it really, really well. And my next captain will do the same.
Looking ahead to March, Rob, the fact that Euro 2024 is less than 18 months away now, does that actually make things easier that, you know, you haven't got much time to dwell on what happened out in Qatar, and the games are going to come thick and fast? Yeah,
and we can't wait. You know, all right, it sounds strange, but in football, when you have a disappointment, you want the next game tomorrow. You want the next game straight away. We haven't got long to wait now. I'm saying it coming to the end of January, but it'll be honest before we know it. You know, we've already made the planning. We've already organised the travel, and we've had a 2-day meeting in Chester a couple of weeks ago where we got the staff together and went through the planning for not only March but for June as well. And I can't wait now to get the squad back together. There'll be a few additions as well. You know, I'm going to start promoting now some of the young ones through, and there might be a couple of tweaks to it, but our principles will be the same, and we want to get off to a winning start. It's a great challenge for us, you know, to go to a place in a team in Croatia that have done really, really well in the World Cup. But that's why we're in the game. We want to go up against the best, and they fall into that category. So, you know, looking at the first 4 games, we're going to want 7-8 points from that minimum to give ourselves a chance then going into the autumn fixtures.
Croatia, you know, World Cup semi-finalists, lost to the eventual champions, Argentina. That's quite a ruthless challenge, isn't it, for the first game of the campaign, and to have to go out to Split as well? Yeah,
that's right, it is. But we know whenever you play in tournaments like this, Sinead, there's no easy games. And that will be a really, really tough test for us. But if we want to continue to compete and qualify for major tournaments, we have to go and compete against teams like that. We've done it in the past. We went to Holland and I think surprised them. You know, all right, we went a couple of goals down then with Brennan's goal and then the equaliser later on. I don't think they expected that, and they had to change tact a little bit in you know, to get the winner, which went a little bit more direct than what they would normally do. So we've proven in the past that if we're organised, hard working, we've got the quality to score goals as well. In you know, look at the players that we've got now in the Premiership. All right, albeit again, we could do with a couple more, having more minutes, but you know, we've got a team that will go and compete with the best.
Is it hard to manage expectations at the moment, you know, by qualifying for 2 consecutive Euros, qualifying for the World Cup? You know, Wales have really shifted now from being a team that, you know, sort of happy to be there mentality to now, no, we want to be there, and we want to be there every time. Is that hard to manage? We expect to be there now, that's been the change. The players want to be there. That's the biggest thing for me. You know, we played, and again, you know, we played in front of 10, 12,000 in the Millennium Stadium, which was, it seemed dead, but I don't think we had that belief that we could qualify for major tournaments. I don't think we did. I think it was a grind every game, and we didn't have the players that we've got today. Not only have we got the players today, we've now got the belief off the back of 3 consecutive major tournaments. We've now got the belief and confidence that we can go and do it again. Gareth's retired, nobody else. So we'll use all the experience of the younger players. I believe Gareth still has a place to play as well in that environment, in whatever capacity. That's yet a conversation I'll be having with him. So the mindset's changed on it as well. So we now believe going into games that we can qualify for major tournaments. Of course, there has to be a little bit of common sense in there as well. And we are Wales, and yeah, everybody says, you know, we're punching above our weight, but that environment is almost a leveler for us as well.
And it's important that we get that right and keep that.
You just touched on it there. Have you had any inkling or any hint from other senior players following Gareth's retirement that perhaps, they're heading towards making a similar decision?
No, not at all. Not one player. If anything, it's quite the opposite. Every member of staff I speak to that's had contact with, like maybe from the medical team, just to check on the players. Our head of recruitment's been to see Joe Allen a couple of times, probably playing the best football he's played at the minute. He's in a great place, which is great for us because coming into March, which we didn't have in the World Cup, he came into it injured, and which was unfortunate for Joe. We'll see a different Joe Allen again, barring any injury. People that have spoken to Aaron, he's dead keen. He can't wait to meet up again. So there's been no inclination at all that any other senior player will want to retire.
Bale has been a change on the pitch, off the pitch. Kit Simons has departed your backroom staff. Is that the beginning of sort of a different look backroom staff for Wales? What will be the process between now and the beginning of this qualifying campaign?
Yeah, that was a really difficult decision for me as well because, I've worked with Kit, I've played with Kit. He's a top bloke, he is. 2 years ago when I brought him in to go to Baku, he was first class. There was myself, there was Albert, and there was Kit that was the link between the players and myself, and I thought he was first class. Now I just want to freshen things up and keep evolving things, and yeah, I'll be bringing a new coach in. There's a new head of sports science as well coming in. Tony Strudwick has left as well. So, and there'll be a couple of other members of staff coming in as well that I want to add to. So I want to bring in a full-time psychologist. So that will be, every other association's got one. We haven't. So again, we need to just keep evolving and progressing and improving, and that's certainly an area that we need, because I think the players again will thrive on that. And not just that, the psychologists will come in and be a part of the culture and making sure that the new players coming into it buy into that as well.
Is it a case of being a bit ruthless now and really doing things your way from now on? Yeah.
Absolutely. We've done what we've done. We've got to a World Cup, great. How we got there was incredible, but we had to be mindful of senior players in managing Gareth and managing Aaron, because for me it's not important how they train on a Thursday, it's what they deliver on a Saturday, and we were proved right because Gareth scored the free kicks that have taken us to a World Cup. So what we did managing Gareth has worked. Now things will change now slightly. It's about us creating that environment again, but that work ethic. So, for instance, a second-day recovery, we need as much time on the grass as possible on international duty. So if it means getting them out on the grass, we'll do it. There'll be no more, no, go and have a day and go and have a massage. And so that mentality will change slightly without having a negative impact on the environment. The players will still want to be a part of it, absolutely, because they want to learn, they want to know about what they're going to face on the following Saturday. So to get them on the grass is going to benefit everybody.
Ashley Williams spoke after the loss to England that Wales now need an identity going forward. What do you think that identity is, Rob?
Well, the biggest thing, I said, we can't get too carried away with it, but is athleticism. We needed that. The reason we played the way we played against USA was because of their athleticism in the middle of the park. I couldn't have gone with two midfielders against them. So we had to change it to that. We need young blood now coming into that first team and pushing and bringing us that energy that we need to if you're dining at the top table, you've got to have energy, and that highlighted it for me. I said we can't get too carried away with it because Argentina, when you look at all the groups and the stats, they're probably in the bottom 3 or 4 of distance combined covered. So, but there is a part to play in it. So for me, our identity now is we've got quality. We absolutely have. We know we can score goals at the top level with young players like Brennan. It's good to see Ruben getting games for Cardiff now, and it's an opportunity for these younger players to come into the squad and bring energy.
Finally, Rob, looking ahead to these games now in March, what would your message be to the fans, especially because, like all of us, I'm sure there's still very much a mixed bag of emotions following the World Cup?
Yeah, of course. Look, it continues, it goes on, and our aim is to qualify for the next Euros in Germany, and then we're looking already as far ahead as the next World Cup. That's our aim, to do that, we have to be united all together again. I get the frustration, I absolutely do. There was nobody more frustrated, John, and trust me, than me. I told you, it took me a couple of weeks to put my big boy pants on and watch the game back. It hurt, it really hurt. And I bet that was a little bit of what the supporters were feeling as well. I can't thank them enough. They've been incredible. They played a massive part in getting us there. And I want that to continue. There's a lot of exciting times ahead for us. And the plan now is to go and get off to a good start in March and then June. And qualify for the next European Championships.
Well, Rob, diolch yn fawr for your time. It's great to see you again. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr, Sianed.